When I was a kid, my mom used to take me to a tiny antique shop off Main Street in Ashford, a quiet town in Vermont. The place was called Hollow Creek Antiques, but everyone in town just called it the doll shop. Inside, shelves were lined with porcelain dolls, hundreds of them, each one staring with glass eyes that seemed a little too alive. The owner, Mr. Whitaker, was an old man with silver hair and hands so steady they could thread a needle without shaking. One summer, a local girl named Samantha Hayes went missing. Search parties combed the woods, the lake, everywhere. The story made headlines for a week, then faded. Just another small-town tragedy. A month later, Mom took me back to Hollow Creek. Mr. Whitaker greeted us warmly as always, but this time, a new doll sat in the front display, a little girl in a blue dress, blonde hair tied with ribbons, glass eyes that almost looked frightened. "That's a new one," Mom said. Whitaker smiled. "Custom order," he said softly. "Every one of them is unique. Something about that doll made me sick to my stomach. It looked exactly like Samantha Hayes." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing that doll's face. Pale, perfect, terrified. I told my mom about it the next morning, but she brushed it off. "It's just a coincidence," she said. But coincidences didn't explain the next one. 2 weeks later, another person went missing. A mail carrier named Ben Harper. The town panicked. People locked their doors, stopped going out at night. Then, one evening, I walked past the shop and froze. In the window sat a new doll, a man in a tiny male uniform, holding a miniature leather bag. I swear its glass eyes followed me as I walked by. I told the police, but they laughed. "Kid, Mr. Whitaker's been here 40 years, one officer said. "He's not kidnapping people." But I couldn't shake it. The next day, I went back to the shop alone. Whitaker stood behind the counter, polishing a doll's face with a cloth. "Back again?" he said, smiling. "You've got a curious eye, just like me." My eyes wandered to the back room. The door was slightly open, and a faint humming sound came from inside. "What's in there?" I asked. "My workshop," he said. "Would you like a tour?" I nodded, pretending to be brave. He pushed the door open, and I stepped inside. The room was small, cluttered, lit by a single hanging bulb. Shelves lined the walls. Plaster molds, paint jars, hair pieces, glass eyes sorted by color. But what froze me were the molds. They weren't generic. They were faces. Human faces. Every one detailed, lifelike, frozen in an expression of fear or surprise. "Beautiful, aren't they?" Whitaker said softly behind me. "People never appreciate how much soul goes into a good doll." He placed a porcelain head on the table, its hollow eyes catching the light. "The trick," he whispered, "is to capture them at just the right moment." I backed away. "Capture?" I asked. He smiled. "Before they fade." I ran out of there, heart pounding, and told my mom everything. She laughed nervously, but agreed to call the police. By the time they came, the shop was locked. Curtains drawn. No lights. "We'll check back tomorrow," they said. But the next morning, Hollow Creek Antiques was empty. Dusty shelves, bare walls, no dolls, no sign of Mr. Whitaker. It was like the entire place had been erased overnight. The police said he must have left town, maybe spooked by the rumors. I tried to move on, but I couldn't forget the way those molds looked, the way they seemed to be screaming silently. Years passed. I left Ashford, went to college, started a life of my own. Then, last winter, Mom sent me a box she'd found in the attic while cleaning. Thought you might want a piece of your childhood, her note read. Inside was a small porcelain doll wrapped in tissue paper. Blue dress, blonde hair, ribbons. My hands went cold. It was Samantha's doll, the one from the shop window. Only now, her expression was different. Her mouth, once closed, was slightly open, as if she were trying to say something. I threw it into the trash, but that night, I heard faint tapping on the window. I told myself it was wind, until I saw it. A silhouette outside, small and unmoving. When I went to the window, it was gone. In the morning, the doll was back, sitting on my nightstand, head turned toward the door. There was something new scratched into the porcelain along its base. He's still making them. The next day, I packed and left town for good, but last week, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name, written in perfect cursive. Inside was a photo of a workshop filled with dolls, and there, standing at the center, was Mr. Whitaker. He was smiling, and behind him, a new doll that looked exactly like me.